How are you feeling, sir? You still dehydrated?
No, I'm better with the water, man. I didn't see that. Thank you, bro. I didn't see that back there.
All right, turn the car on, get some AC.
Thank you, man.
Personal protective equipment. Cutter's Edge is a locally owned business that provides the full range of landscape services for your business or association. Go to cuttersedgepro.com or call 954-472-0622.
Tune into the Dale Walmsley Radio Show. Dale, self-made millionaire and founder of Lifestyles Unlimited, will show you how to live the life of your dreams and pay for it with passive income.
Listen to the Dale Walmsley Radio Show this Saturday, 4 to 5 p.m. on WIOD. The ubiquity of smartphones, we see the ever-present distraction everywhere. But if you want a more informative connection, use radio's Big 10 WIOD on the iHeartRadio. I think 89 is when I first started listening to you, and just want to let you know that my wife and I were praying for you. Hope you wish you the best. Thank you, sir, very much. And also looking for the Betsy Ross masks. If you can take those, I think they're colors. We've been thinking about it. But Rush, I was calling today because I'm an attorney. I'm a defense attorney. And I was watching this George Floyd video. At first, it is disgusting. It's a horrible video. I don't know how to describe it other than that. And I'm not calling today to defend officers, but there's some stuff I saw on it that is, that makes me wonder how much of this was the officer possibly asphyxiating Mr. Floyd, and how much of it may have been something else. There are reports that he was acting erratically beforehand, and if you watch in the video, it states there's some guy, one of the bystanders, is having a little conversation with him, saying, "Why don't you just get in the car?" And Floyd says, at a certain point, says, "Okay, I'll get in the car now." And the officer says, "We've been trying to get him in the car for 10 minutes." So there's been more going on prior to this.
I don't know. This guy pulled me over. They made me turn off my car. They didn't have water. I was feeling dehydrated. But
all right, do me a favor. Turn off your phone. Stop recording.
Well, I can't do that. I'm good. I had some water, man. I'm fine.
So you don't need no medical?
No, I'm good. I'm good. Thank you. Thank you, man.
No, it's gonna open up.
He said he doesn't need no medical. He said he's
I'm
good.
good. I'm good. I had some water. He let me turn on the AC. I'm feeling better.
Oh,
Yeah, I'm
so
feeling
you're good?
Yeah, I'm good. I'm good.
Sure.
I was feeling dehydrated. I put the AC on. I'm good.
You sure? You don't want us to check it out?
No, I'm good. I'm good. I had some water. I turned on the AC. I'm feeling better.
All right.
Thank you.
You're gonna have to sign saying that.
Yeah. That's fine. That's fine. Thank you, guys.
I'm afraid that if the toxicology comes back that he had a massive OD from heroin or something like that, that maybe it wasn't the officers that caused it.
I have to tell you, you are the first person that I have talked
What is
to
your last name?
or
Gomez.
read about
Gomez.
bringing up the fact that he might have taken a heroin overdose.
And your first name?
Rafael.
And the cop inadvertently then actions killed him when the cop didn't know the guy was on drugs.
Thank you, man. Appreciate it.
You've never heard anybody say any of this before. I've never heard about the 10 minutes prior to it that the cop couldn't subdue the guy. It looked to me like he was subdued with a knee on the neck.
No, you're right there. The police officers, they
That's Rush Limbaugh. Rush Limbaugh.
There's no doubt about that.
So just for purposes, you're okay, you're medically. I'm going to ask you a couple of questions to see if you're good. You know what day of the month it is?
The
28th of what?
May.
You know who the President of the United States is? Okay. So you don't have no medical need or nothing like that?
At the moment, yeah, but I have some water here. Let me turn on the AC. I'm feeling better.
Can you use mine check you out? You don't want to touch or anything?
I'm fine. I was feeling lightheaded, but now I feel fine.
All right, thank you very much. Hey, just drive, right?
Thank you.
I have to tell you, you can talk when you're having difficulty breathing. It comes during the exhale portion of the procedure, and it is a panic reaction to being unable to breathe. When you're unable to breathe, your body takes over, your brain takes over, and does whatever it can to enable you to breathe. And the fact that you say he wouldn't be able to say, "Officer, I can't breathe," if he was in fact unable to breathe, is not. That's just not how it works. But look, you've introduced things here that I've never heard from anybody. Heroin overdose, 10 minutes of behavior that we haven't seen. And I know you're a defense attorney, and this is how you look at things, and I applaud you for that and so forth. But I'm not going to change my perception of this, because there's no excuse for this. You can try all you want to excuse what happened here, and you can't. I don't care if the guy had been brandishing a weapon 10 minutes beforehand. He wasn't at the time he was killed. And believe me, he was killed. He didn't die. He was killed. That's just... You can't explain that away. At least nobody can explain it away satisfactorily for me. Anyway, Forrest or Brandon, I'm sorry, I appreciate the phone call. Moving on to Summerfield, Florida. Chris, you're next. Take your best shot. How you doing? Testing 1, 2, 3. Are you there, Chris?
Yes, Rush, can you hear me?
Yeah, I do now. Thank you.
I'm sorry. Mega prayers, my friend.
Thank you, sir.
Listener, it's a deep thrill to be here talking to you. I'll get right to the point. I'm a 30-year retired veteran of police work, retired as a lieutenant, Northern Illinois. And I can tell you straight up that your last call, I can't believe he was a defense attorney, frankly. But it's completely unacceptable, and at no point is any officer trained in any way to kneel on somebody's neck. It just doesn't happen. That's not proper procedure.
And not let up on it for 5 minutes. It just does not happen.
But listen, Rush, what really ticks me off and annoys me more than anything else was that there was another officer standing there with his feet in cement, keeping his mouth shut, and he didn't intervene. It's one thing for one officer to make the mistake, if you want to call it that, of doing that, but the other officer should have knocked it off and should have pulled him up and stopped that. That's what really troubles me about that Minneapolis incident. It sickens me. It absolutely sickens me. We've done so much good since and now this starts again. It just sickens me. It does not represent a vast majority of American law enforcement in any way. And for this to be, I just wish that other officer, I understand 4 of them got fired. Where was the supervisor? That's my other question. And I would also say, Rush, and I'll shut up in a second here, where were the supervisors in this incident?
Well, look, while I have you, let me read to you from the Minneapolis police report. And let me share with you some things some devil's advocates are saying, okay? Number 1, here's from the police report. Officers were able to get the suspect into handcuffs and noted that he appeared to be suffering medical distress. Officers called for an ambulance. He was transported to Hennepin County Medical Center by ambulance, where he died a short time later.
Inexcusable, sir. That just should not have happened. It's just beyond belief that there was that I don't care.
But this says he died at the hospital, not on the street.
But still, he was under. You can tell when you've got somebody in custody. First of all, you don't kneel on their neck. You pick them up. You give them.
Okay, well, let me tell you something else. There are people who are saying, if you look at the video very carefully, Rush, you're going to see that the officer does not have his knee on the trachea, his windpipe. His knee is on the back of his neck. So how in the hell did he strangle him?
From what I understand, he was a large man. I'm not going to get into the weeds. I'm not a coroner. But
I know. I just said the devil's advocates are coming out. The people trying to explain this away are coming out, and I'm giving you a little heads up into what they're saying.
No, you're exactly right. There's no excuse for it. The man was killed. If you want to call it, that's incompetence, lack of training. That's going to probably come out. I've dealt with this many times. I don't want to say many times, but a few times. It's going to come down to lack of training. Obviously, the city of Minneapolis is going to be cutting checks.
It's not going to come down to that. I think it's not going to come down to lack of training. You can tell from this police report that's not where this is headed. Let me read to you the police report again it's not in its entirety, obviously. Officers were able to get the suspect into handcuffs and noted he appeared to be suffering medical distress. That means they didn't cause it. They had to work hard to get him in cuffs. They noted that he appeared to be suffering medical distress. Officers called for an ambulance. Mr. Floyd was transported to Hennepin County Medical Center by ambulance, where he died a short time later. So he died in the hospital. He didn't die on the street. He didn't die while the cop's knee was depressed, jammed into his neck. And then you're going to have people pointing out, wait a minute, the cop's knee wasn't even on the guy's windpipe. It was on the side or the back of his neck. How does that strangle it even? So you can see how this is going to be attempted to be explained. And the fact that he did not die there on the street, but died in the hospital, and the cops knew he was in distress and called for the ambulance. Now, despite that, now that's an excerpt from the police report.
Gomez.
Yes, sir.
Here's your information. I want you to go home.
Did you get educated?
I hope you did.
Am I allowed to record?
You've been allowed to record. No one said anything about that.
Thank you, sir.
You're very welcome.
Thank you.
Drive safely.
I will.